Hello, my name is AnnaRose Roulley, and my research area is looking at rethinking high school mathematics and artificial intelligence, and really the way that we can use AI to help change the way we're teaching high school mathematics to help guide and benefit students' education. So we're going to look at why AI, three big benefits it has, some considerations, and then what it means for the future. So first, why AI? So AI and education are becoming increasingly connected with tools like ChatGPT, Grammarly, Google Gemini. These are being used in all different professions. So ultimately, when students enter the workforce and they go into higher education, they're going to be exposed to these new technologies and they're going to be exposed to AI. So it's kind of placed a responsibility on teachers and education to show students how to use these properly so that they can use them for their benefit one day. And then there is a rising demand for personalized learning. With so much diversity within our classes, we have to be able to meet the needs of all of our students. So that means within one activity, within one lesson, we have to be able to help build foundational skills for some students and then also work on higher order thinking skills for students who are ready to apply their learning in new contexts. It allows for creativity, structure, and a student-centered approach. It can help students brainstorm ideas. It can help show them how their passions and interests are connected to their math instruction. And when students feel connected to what they're learning, it really does allow for a much more meaningful learning process. So looking at feedback and support, so traditionally students turn in a paper, they get a grade back. They don't really look at the feedback on it and they kind of just tuck it in a folder and binder, and they aren't reflective of what the comments and the grades mean for their understanding. But AI gives instant feedback, so it can be a challenge to give high quality feedback to all of your students within one 40-minute class period when there is a lot of them. But AI really works to create a more individualized approach, and it helps correct mistakes while students are learning. So it allows students to implement the feedback that they're getting right away. It helps them make on-the-spot adjustments. It helps correct mistakes before they become so large that now we're having to go back and kind of reteach a lot of material to students, which can be overwhelming and honestly frustrating. Sometimes students turn in a paper and then they get it back and they see that they did a step wrong in all of them, or that they are adding wrong, or that they just kind of have a slight misunderstanding that really changes the problem that they're working on. But when we can work to kind of address these smaller issues right away, students then become reflective and then can apply that knowledge right away to the next problem, and it really helps build their confidence that they are doing it correctly and that they do have a good understanding. Next, looking at problem-solving skills. Problem-solving is not just a math skill, but it's a life skill. So often, students are exposed to problem-solving for the first time within their math classes, and honestly, they shy away from it because they think long problems with big numbers. But AI can help guide them through this process by offering hints, step-by-step feedback, and personalized prompts, which really works to kind of reduce that mental taxation and that cognitive load that the problem-solving process just naturally has. AI can work to analyze large data sets, it detects patterns and structures, and it works to support students in the decision in their thinking. It doesn't necessarily change it or do it for them, which is often a big misconception of AI altogether. And then it also works to build confidence as students tackle these problems independently. Students are always going to be exposed to messy problems within the real life, and they have unpredictable kind of paths. But when we can provide students the structure and these tools and these resources, it really helps them become more comfortable with problem solving and this kind of unfamiliarity that math has with it. We don't want students just sitting staring at their paper for a long period of time. Sometimes they just need help getting going, and this is the way that AI can help direct them in a path that really helps aid in their learning. We also want to support diverse learners, so classrooms include students at, above, and below grade level, and we really want students to be in this zone of proximal development. We want to give them tasks that aren't too hard or aren't too easy. We really want them to be just for what they need, that really help challenge them in the way that can help drive their learning and help them get to the next level. So AI can personalize content based on students' progress. It understands students' knowledge and kind of the input that they give it, and then it selects appropriate content to then be pushed back to them. And this really opens up much more time for teachers within the class. No longer do teachers have to create 5 assignments with 5 different problem sets. AI does it for them, so the teachers can really focus on exactly what each student needs and really help them. And then because it is so unique and it is so diverse, it can offer enrichment and challenges for advanced learners, but also scaffolding for others. So students can all be working on the same topic within one class, but really at the level that they need. And then it promotes equity by helping students access the same goals. So kind of like the picture up in the right-hand corner, students can all take their own path to get to the intended learning outcomes, but we're all able to get to them together. We just might have to do it a little differently based on what each student needs. So we have some considerations. We need to think about equity. Not all students have technology or internet access at home, and they need these consistent experiences. So this may be the first time that they're ever using AI, but we really want to make sure that they feel comfortable using it and they understand how it benefits their learning and the proper ways to use it. We also have to think about privacy, because AI collects students' data, but we have to be really cautious of how it's stored, used, and protected. We have concerns about students' identity, confidentiality, and we never want to do anything that puts their safety or privacy at risk. So we have to ensure that the tools we're using and selecting within our classrooms really take that into account. And then also teacher training. Because this is such a new phenomenon, teachers can't just be expected to know all the ins and outs. They need training so that they can implement it effectively into their classrooms, and then it also works to build confidence with teachers using it themselves so then they can feel comfortable educating their students. Overall, AI is a tool for transformation. It's not meant to replace teachers or student thinking. It's meant to be an aid, and it really opens this pathway for personalized, equitable, and effective instruction. It really allows students to become more connected and really more interested in what they're learning because it feels obtainable to them. And then it also supports feedback, problem solving, and diverse learner needs. And then looking at the future, we want to think about these long-term impacts that it can have on students' learning outcomes, engagement, and mathematical confidence. We want to ensure that even though it's beneficial to them today, that in 5 or 10 years, it's still going to be beneficial to them and their learning is still going to be meaningful. And then, of course, we have to look at effective professional development that focuses on AI for our teachers so that they can implement it into the classroom effectively and they can use it in ways that really benefit their students and their learning now and for the future. Ultimately, we want new technology as it allows for deeper, more inclusive, and more meaningful learning. We just have to make sure that we're using it in ways that really do benefit our students. And the next couple of slides are my references. Thank you.